The sun hung high in the Lagos sky, scorching the streets with its relentless heat. Cars honked endlessly, street vendors shouted over each other, and the aroma of fried plantains and roasted corn mingled with the faint scent of gasoline. In the middle of all this chaos, Mr. Okoro sat quietly in his luxurious office, his hands folded on his mahogany desk, staring at a photograph. It was a picture of his son Emeka, smiling broadly while holding hands with Ella. She was the kind of girl everyone would call perfect, bright, beautiful, polite, and seemingly full of charm. Yet, despite all her virtues, Mr. Okoro's brow was furrowed and his lips pressed tightly together. Emeka, his only son, had been dating Ella for almost a year, and yet he hadn't proposed. Not because he didn't love her, Emeka loved Ella, but because he seemed content drifting through life, taking the easy route and putting off responsibilities. And now, Mr. Okoro feared something else entirely. "Is she really the right one for my son?" he muttered under his breath. It wasn't just a question of beauty or manners. Mr. Okoro had seen far too many young women attracted to wealth, cars, and fancy dinners. His fortune, though modest in the eyes of some tycoons, was enough to tempt the wrong person. And while Ella seemed genuinely sweet, a father's instinct told him there was only one way to know the truth: test her heart. But how do you test a person's heart without them knowing? The answer came to him like a bolt of lightning. He would disguise himself, not as a wealthy businessman, not even as a modest gentleman, but as someone with nothing at all. A homeless man. The very idea made him chuckle. Me? Homeless? He said aloud, pacing his office. "I'll have to brush up on my begging skills, and perhaps practice tripping over my own feet in public." Emeka walked in just as his father was mumbling to himself. "Dad, what are you talking about now?" Mr. Okoro turned, hiding the mischievous glint in his eye. "I'm thinking, my son, about love. About knowing the true heart of the woman you care about." Emeka raised an eyebrow. "Love? I'm pretty sure Ella's got a good heart." "Does she?" Mr. Okoro asked sharply. "Does she, or does she simply know the right words to say to a wealthy family's son?" Emeka shrugged, unconcerned. "Dad, she's been nothing but kind. She volunteers at orphanages, donates to charity. What more do you want?" Mr. Okoro leaned closer, his voice dropping conspiratorially. "I want to see her kindness when there's no reason to be kind. When no one is watching. When there's nothing to gain. That is the only way to know if her heart is real." Emeka blinked. "You're talking about a test?" "Yes. And I have the perfect plan." From that day, Mr. Okoro began preparations. He sold his silk shirts for old, torn clothes, replaced polished shoes with scuffed slippers, and practiced looking feeble and weary. He studied how real homeless people moved, how they asked for help without sounding threatening, how they survived on scraps. It wasn't easy. He stubbed his toes multiple times, tripped over imaginary obstacles, and nearly fell on a street vendor selling roasted plantains during practice runs in his mansion's garden. Meanwhile, Emeka continued his routine, oblivious to his father's scheming. He spent mornings at work and evenings with Ella, laughing at her jokes, enjoying her company, and dreaming of a future he had yet to take seriously. Ella, for her part, was blissfully unaware that she was about to face a test that would challenge her in ways she never imagined. She had always prided herself on kindness and compassion. She volunteered every weekend, helped friends in need, and never hesitated to lend a hand. She believed that good deeds should be done without reward or recognition. Yet she had never been tested in a situation where no one knew she was being watched. The day Mr. Okoro put his plan into action, he left his mansion before sunrise, dressed in rags, carrying a worn-out tin cup, and with a gray scarf wrapped around his head, he stepped onto the bustling streets. For the first few hours, he felt ridiculous. People walked past him without a second glance. Some even kicked at the air near him as if he were an obstacle rather than a human being. Yet he persisted. He sat on corners, muttering for help, occasionally dropping a few coins from his own pocket to make it look real. The act was exhausting, humbling, and to his own surprise, eye-opening. And then, fate intervened. Ella, carrying her shopping bags, turned the corner, laughing at something Emeka had texted her. Her eyes fell on the old man. For a moment, she hesitated. Something in her heart tugged at her. She paused, frowning slightly. "Sir, are you okay?" she asked gently, kneeling beside him. "Do you need food? Water? Anything?" Mr. Okoro froze. The words were genuine, sincere, and they came from someone who didn't know this was a test. For the first time in his life, he felt the sting of vulnerability from the other side. I'm fine, he stammered, unsure how to respond. Ella ignored his weak protest. She dug into her bag, pulling out a sandwich and a bottle of water. I know it's not much, but please take it. You need it more than I do. Something in Mr. Okoro's chest tightened. This girl, she was different. Her heart, her instincts, her compassion, all real, unprompted, and pure. And at that very moment, Emeka appeared, arriving to meet her. He paused, confused, watching his girlfriend kneel beside a ragged old man. "What's going on?" he asked, concern in his voice. Before Mr. Okoro could answer, Ella handed the food and water to the homeless man and smiled softly. I just want to help, that's all." Mr. Okoro looked at his son and whispered, "My work here might just be done, Emeka. But there's still much to learn." Little did he know this was only the beginning. The real test, the twists, and the surprises were yet to come, and none of them would leave the Okoro family unchanged. By the time the third week rolled around, the streets of Lagos had become Mr. Okoro's second home. Every corner, every vendor, every stray dog that wandered too close, he knew them all. And yet, no matter how accustomed he became to the chaos, each day brought new surprises. Emeka, in contrast, had begun to notice his father's absence. "Dad hasn't been answering my calls," he muttered to Ella one afternoon, brow furrowed. "He's usually checking in every hour. I hope he's okay." Ella reached out and squeezed his hand. "Maybe he's just busy, or wants some peace. He's older now, Emeka. Sometimes he needs to be alone." But Emeka wasn't entirely convinced. There was something off. Something in the way his father had looked at him the last time they met. A hint of mischief. A glint in the eye that Emeka had seen only once or twice in his life. Meanwhile, Mr. Okoro's test of Ella had entered a new phase. He had realized that kindness alone wouldn't be enough. He needed to see patience, humility, and resourcefulness. People could be kind when it was easy. The true measure was in how they reacted under pressure. The first challenge came on a rainy afternoon. The skies had darkened suddenly, sending a torrent of rain onto the city streets. Vendors scrambled to cover their goods, while commuters ran for shelter, drenched within seconds. Mr. Okoro, soaked through and shivering, sat on his usual corner, trying not to tremble too visibly. His scarf was soaked, his slipper squelched with water, and his tin cup was filling with puddle water rather than coins. Ella appeared, carrying an umbrella, a tote bag, and her usual calm demeanor. She froze for a moment when she saw him, the homeless man, sitting in the downpour, looking utterly miserable. "Oh no," she murmured, pulling her umbrella tighter. "He's getting soaked." Without hesitation, she ran over, held her umbrella above his head, and wrapped her tote bag around him as best she could. "Here, this will help a little," she said, her voice firm but gentle. Mr. Okoro tried to protest weakly. "It's fine, really." But she ignored him, her eyes scanning the busy street. "No, it's not fine. You can't just sit here like this." For the first time, he felt something he hadn't anticipated: vulnerability. This girl, she doesn't care who I am. She only cares that someone needs help. As they moved to a slightly sheltered spot under a market stall, she spoke to him as if he were an equal, asking about his day, gently coaxing him to eat the sandwich she had brought. Mr. Okoro nodded silently, feeling a mix of gratitude and awe. It was a test, yes, but also a lesson for him. The old man realized how easy it was to take acts of kindness for granted, how little he had truly observed the world outside his mansion walls. That evening, as Mr. Okoro returned to his small rented room, soaked and exhausted, he reflected on the day. Ella's actions had passed the first real hurdle, but the streets were unpredictable. The next challenge could come at any moment, and he needed to push her boundaries further without letting her know it. A few days later, the real test arrived, and it was unexpected. It was market day, and the streets were packed tighter than usual. Stalls overflowed with yams, tomatoes, roasted corn, and piles of shoes so mismatched they seemed to have been thrown together by chaos itself. Mr. Okoro had chosen a corner near a busy intersection, hoping to observe Ella without being noticed. And then it happened. A young man, clearly struggling, dropped a large bundle of yams. The heavy bundle rolled across the street, threatening to crash into oncoming traffic. Mr. Okoro instinctively reached out to stop it, but before he could, Ella sprang into action. She dashed into the middle of the street, grabbed the yams, and lifted the bundle with surprising strength. Cars swerved, horns blaring,
but she didn't falter. She returned the yams to the flustered vendor, who looked at her in amazement. Mr. Okoro watched from the corner, his heart swelling with pride, yet, at the same time, he realized something crucial. She had not been doing this for him. Every action, every choice, was her own. She didn't know she was being tested, and that made her actions real, pure, and honest. Later that evening, as he trudged back to his room, he reflected on the week's events. His plan had succeeded in part. Ella's heart was good, her actions genuine, but there was more. He wanted to see patience under pressure, generosity when it was inconvenient, and integrity when things didn't go her way. The next test came unexpectedly. A local street hustler, notorious for tricking people into giving him money, spotted Mr. Okoro. "Hey, uncle, you day beg, or you day act," the hustler shouted, approaching him with a mischievous grin. Mr. Okoro froze, his disguise nearly failing. This was dangerous. If the hustler recognized him as wealthy, the plan would collapse. Thinking quickly, he muttered in a shaky voice, I just need a little help, please." Before the hustler could react, Ella appeared again. She had noticed the commotion from a distance and immediately came running. "Hey," she shouted. "Leave him alone. You have no right to harass people." The hustler froze, then laughed. This girl day strong, oh. Who be you?" Ella didn't back down. She crossed her arms, her tone firm. "Someone who refuses to see when others are in need is no better than a thief. Move along, or you'll regret it." The hustler hesitated, then grinned, recognizing the firmness in her voice. He shrugged, backing away. Okay, I know one Wahala." Mr. Okoro's chest tightened as he watched. Ella had acted fearlessly, defending him even though she didn't know his true identity. She had passed yet another test, courage under pressure, integrity, and kindness all at once. That night, Mr. Okoro sat on his bed, exhausted but elated. He had begun this test to protect his son, to ensure Emeka's happiness. Yet in the process, he had discovered something else. Humility, courage, and kindness were not just traits to observe. They were qualities that could inspire, transform, and heal even the most stubborn heart. And as he drifted off to sleep, he felt a strange mix of anticipation and anxiety. Because while Ella had passed the first real hurdles, the ultimate test, one that would challenge her in ways neither she nor Mr. Okoro could predict, was fast approaching. Little did he know, the next phase of the test would bring surprises, revelations, and a twist that could change everything he thought he knew about his son, his girlfriend, and even himself.
The Lagos streets had a way of teaching lessons, often when you least expected them. For Mr. Okoro, the lessons this week were coming faster than he could anticipate. After 3 weeks of observing Ella and testing her kindness, patience, and courage, he thought he had a clear picture of her character. But life, as it often does, had other plans. It was a bright Tuesday morning. The market was alive with its usual chaos, the sizzle of frying meat, the rhythmic clatter of wooden ladles on pots, and the endless chatter of buyers haggling with sellers. Mr. Okoro, dressed in his tattered disguise, sat in his usual corner, his tin cup in hand, watching Ella from a distance. She was walking briskly toward the street vendors, her tote bag swinging, a small smile on her face as she waved to familiar faces. Everything seemed normal until a familiar voice called out, "Papa, is that you?" Mr. Okoro's head snapped up. A street hustler, the same one from last week, was pointing at him, eyes wide with recognition. He froze, panic rising like a tidal wave. His disguise, meticulously crafted over weeks, was in jeopardy. Ella turned toward the commotion, frowning. "Who is that?" she asked. Before Mr. Okoro could respond, the hustler ran over, grabbing him by the arm. "Now you owe. I sabi you. You be that rich Ogawade town. Whatin you day do here?" Mr. Okoro's heart raced. If Ella realized he was wealthy, the test would be ruined. Quick thinking was essential. He stumbled backward, pretending to collapse from exhaustion, muttering, I don't know what you're talking about. Leave me." Ella rushed forward, concern written across her face. "Sir, are you okay? Do you need help?" The hustler, seeing her approach, laughed. This girl get heart. Oh, she day protect you? Whatin day happen?" Ella glared at him. "He doesn't need you bothering him. Move?" The hustler hesitated, then smirked and backed off. Mr. Okoro let out a shaky breath. Ella had once again defended him without knowing who he really was. But that incident wasn't the only twist waiting for him that day. Later, as he tried to rest in his corner, a small boy approached, holding a crumpled piece of paper. Sir, I found this near your spot," the boy said, handing it over. Mr. Okoro unfolded it cautiously. It was a note, written in a familiar handwriting. "I know who you are. You're not really homeless. Are you testing her? Be careful, old man." His eyes widened. "Someone new." "But who? And how much had they seen?" Fear mingled with frustration. His plan, which had seemed so foolproof, was now vulnerable. As if to add pressure, Ella appeared again, carrying a small basket of food for the street. She handed it to him with a gentle smile. "I brought this for you. I hope it helps." Mr. Okoro's heart tightened. She was unwavering in her kindness, even when the world was unpredictable and cruel. But now the test had shifted. It wasn't just about observing her. It was about navigating unexpected complications without blowing his cover. And the moral dilemma arrived sooner than he expected. A man collapsed nearby, a street vendor, gasping for air, clutching his chest. Panic rippled through the crowd as people froze, unsure what to do. Mr. Okoro could see that Ella's gaze sharpened. She didn't hesitate. She knelt beside the man, checking his pulse, shouting for help. "Someone call an ambulance," she yelled. Then, noticing the man's stall full of food, she quickly distributed what she could to nearby children, ensuring no one went hungry while waiting for help. Mr. Okoro watched, astonished. This was beyond kindness, this was courage, quick thinking, and selflessness under pressure. He had never expected such presence of mind from anyone, let alone his son's girlfriend. But just as the ambulance arrived and the man was carried away, Ella noticed something troubling. The hustler from earlier had returned, eyeing Mr. Okoro suspiciously. He started whispering to nearby vendors, pointing at the homeless man. Ella's brow furrowed. "Sir, is something wrong? Who are these people?" Mr. Okoro shook his head, muttering weakly. "Nothing. Just troublemakers." Ella's eyes narrowed. She didn't hesitate. "If anyone tries to harm you, I will not stand by." Her protective instinct shone through. But that moment also planted a seed of doubt in Mr. Okoro's mind. Could he continue this charade safely? Someone might expose him at any moment. And more importantly, would the test still be valid if external interference forced her hand? That evening, Mr. Okoro returned to his small rented room, exhausted and contemplative. Ella's actions had impressed him beyond measure. She had defended him, helped strangers, and shown courage and quick thinking. Yet the streets had thrown unexpected twists that could jeopardize everything. He knew the next phase of the test would be the most challenging. He had to see not just kindness and courage, but the strength of her heart when faced with deception and unexpected truths. Little did he know, the biggest twist of all was waiting. A secret that Ella had been keeping, one that could change everything and turn the test on its head. As he lay on his cot, staring at the ceiling, Mr. Okoro felt a mixture of anticipation and dread. The real challenge was just beginning, and nothing about the outcome was guaranteed.
The sun had just begun its descent, casting golden streaks across Ligo's bustling streets. The market was quieter now, with most vendors packing up their stalls and commuters hurrying home before dusk. Yet in one corner, something extraordinary was about to unfold. Mr. Okoro sat slouched against a crumbling wall, his tin cup empty, his rags soaked from the afternoon rain. The day had been exhausting, a mix of observation, dodging curious eyes, and navigating street chaos. But tonight, he had decided it was time. The test had gone far enough. Ella had proven herself again and again in ways he could not have imagined. He had watched her patience when people ignored her calls for help, her courage when defending the weak, her kindness when no one was looking. Every act had been genuine. She had passed the trials, and now it was time to see her reaction when the truth was revealed. "Emeka," he muttered to himself, thinking of his son. Time for the final lesson. He spotted Ella walking toward him, carrying her tote bag filled with food. Her expression was soft, concerned, the same way it had been since the first day she noticed him on the streets. "Sir," she said gently, kneeling beside him. "Are you feeling better? I brought some food. I thought you might be hungry." Mr. Okoro smiled faintly. "Ella, there's something I need to show you." Ella tilted her head, puzzled. "What is it?" Slowly, carefully, Mr. Okoro reached up and removed the scarf from his head, letting the disguise fall away. The torn clothes, the rags, the soaked slippers, all disappeared in an instant. What remained was the familiar, dignified figure of Mr. Okoro, wealthy businessman, father of Emeka, and master of the elaborate test. Ella froze. Her eyes widened, and her hand flew to her mouth. You were all this time." Mr. Okoro nodded, his expression gentle but firm. "Yes, Ella. Every act of kindness, courage, and integrity you've shown. I witnessed it all. I had to know the truth about your heart. Not for me, for my son." For a moment, silence hung between them. Ella blinked, processing the revelation. I don't know what to say. I didn't know this was a test.
I wanted to help. That's exactly why you passed, Mr. Okoro said softly. You acted from the heart, not for recognition, reward, or even love. You acted because it was the right thing to do. Emeka, who had arrived quietly, stood behind them, laughing in disbelief. Dad, only you would go to such lengths to test my girlfriend. Mr. Okoro looked at his son with a twinkle in his eye. Love requires proof, Emeka. And today, she has proven herself worthy. Ella, still in shock, smiled shyly. I didn't expect this. I thought you were just a poor man in need. I never knew. Mr. Okoro's smile softened. That's why it was a test. To see the truth beneath appearances. And Ella, you have shown that your heart is pure. But before the relief and laughter could settle in, a new tension arose. Ella's eyes flickered, a shadow crossing her face. She hesitated, then took a deep breath. There's something I need to tell you. Mr. Okoro raised an eyebrow, intrigued. Go on. Ella looked at Emeka first, then back at Mr. Okoro. I knew someone was testing me. Mr. Okoro's heart skipped a beat. You knew. Ella nodded. Not all the time, but sometimes I felt things weren't as they seemed. I noticed small things. Subtle gestures, inconsistencies in behavior. I didn't know who was behind it, but I felt I was being watched. Mr. Okoro stared, a mixture of surprise and admiration on his face. So, all these acts you performed were genuine? Yes, Ella said firmly, because I believe in doing the right thing. Even if I suspected someone was watching, I would have acted the same way. That's who I am. A stunned silence fell. Mr. Okoro had tested her to discover the truth, but in a twist of fate, she had been partly aware, yet she acted genuinely anyway. The irony and beauty of it struck him. Emeka stepped forward, shaking his head in amazement. Dad, I can't believe this. She already knew, and she still acted with kindness. This is incredible. Mr. Okoro laughed softly, ruffling his son's hair. Sometimes the heart reveals more than we ever could expect. And sometimes the test teaches us lessons about ourselves too. Ella smiled, relief washing over her. I didn't want to fail anyone, or myself. I just wanted to do what felt right. Mr. Okoro reached out, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. And that, Ella, is exactly why I trust you with my son's happiness. You have proven not just kindness, but courage, integrity, and authenticity. More than I could have imagined. The family shared a long moment of quiet understanding, the chaos of the streets fading into the background. Yet, the final twist, the one no one expected, was still to come. Later that evening, as they all returned home, Mr. Okoro received a phone call from the street hustler who had once recognized him. The man's voice trembled as he spoke. Sir, I saw everything, but there's something you need to know. She's not just kind. She's been helping someone else too. Someone you've never noticed. Mr. Okoro's heart raced. Who? She's been secretly helping a young boy in the market, an orphan. She's been feeding him, giving him clothes, and even tutoring him in secret. No one knew, not even me. But she's been doing it for months. Mr. Okoro's eyes widened. The depth of Ella's heart went beyond what even he had imagined. She had passed every test, faced every challenge, and yet she had been silently transforming lives in ways no one else had seen. That night, as the family sat together, laughter, relief, and admiration filling the room, Mr. Okoro realized something profound. Love, kindness, and character could not be tested fully by schemes or disguises. True virtue revealed itself in action, quietly, consistently, and without expectation. And in that moment, he knew one thing for certain. Emeka and Ella were destined for a life filled not just with love, but with meaning, integrity, and the kind of goodness that could change the world around them. The twist wasn't just that Ella had known she was being tested. It was that her true heart had been operating on a level even Mr. Okoro hadn't anticipated, quietly changing lives while teaching lessons in humility and love. The following morning, Lagos woke to its usual chaos. Car horns, street vendors shouting prices, children running past with worn-out school bags. But inside the Okoro mansion, a different kind of storm was brewing, one of laughter, tears, and revelations. Mr. Okoro, now back in his tailored suits and polished shoes, paced his study, thinking over the past weeks. The streets had taught him more than he anticipated. Ella had proven her heart beyond measure. She had defended him, helped strangers, faced danger, and acted with compassion, even when someone was watching. But there was still one thing he hadn't accounted for, her secret. Earlier, the street hustler's phone call had hinted at it. Ella had been quietly helping a young orphan in the market for months, giving him food, clothes, and tutoring him without seeking recognition. That revelation weighed heavily on Mr. Okoro. The girl his son loved was more than kind-hearted. She was selfless in a way few people could even imagine. Emeka walked into the room, noticing the seriousness on his father's face. "Dad, what's wrong? You look different." Mr. Okoro smiled faintly. "Nothing is wrong, Emeka. In fact, everything is exactly right. But I think it's time for you to know the full truth." Emeka raised an eyebrow. "About Ella?" "Yes," Mr. Okoro said, beckoning him closer. "Follow me." They walked together to the study, where Ella was already waiting. Her eyes lit up when she saw Emeka, but she noticed the unusual expression on Mr. Okoro's face. "What's going on?" she asked, sensing that this wasn't just another lesson. Mr. Okoro turned to her, his tone gentle. "Ella, you have proven yourself beyond any test I could have devised. Your courage, integrity, and kindness are unmatched. But there's one final truth I need to share, and I think you already know it." Ella blinked, confused. I'm not sure I understand." Mr. Okoro gestured toward Emeka. "Do you remember when you felt I was testing you on the streets? When you suspected something was off?" Ella nodded slowly. "Yes, I knew someone was watching. I didn't know it was you, Mr. Okoro, but I felt it." Mr. Okoro smiled. "And yet, you acted with the same honesty, the same selflessness, even knowing you might be observed. That alone proves your heart. But there's something more, something even I didn't expect." He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. "While I was testing you, someone else was testing me." Ella's eyes widened. "What do you mean?" "The young orphan you've been helping?" Mr. Okoro said slowly. He isn't just any child. He is the son of an old friend of mine who passed away. I had promised to protect him if anything ever happened to his family. And without knowing, you were fulfilling that promise for me. Your heart didn't just touch strangers. It touched someone I hold dear." Ella's mouth opened in shock. I didn't know. I wanted to help him. I thought he needed someone." Mr. Okoro shook his head, laughing softly. "Exactly. You helped because it was the right thing to do. And in doing so, you helped me fulfill a promise I didn't even realize needed fulfillment. That, Ella, is the true measure of your heart." Emeka, standing nearby, couldn't contain his amazement. "Dad, I can't believe this. Ella, you've been amazing this whole time. And even secretly helping someone close to my dad. That's... wow." Tears welled in Ella's eyes, not from shame or embarrassment, but from the overwhelming realization that her simple acts of kindness had far-reaching consequences. I never imagined this. I was just trying to do good. I never thought it would matter to anyone else." Mr. Okoro placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "It matters, Ella. It always matters. And now, thanks to you, I know my son's happiness is in the right hands." For the first time in weeks, laughter filled the room. The tension, the anxiety, and the elaborate schemes melted away. What remained was gratitude, love, and a profound sense of connection between father, son, and girlfriend. But there was still one last moment, one final twist that would leave everyone speechless. Emeka looked between his father and Ella, curiosity sparkling in his eyes. "So, you mean to tell me that all this time, both of you were testing each other?" Mr. Okoro chuckled. "In a way, yes. I tested her heart. She unknowingly tested mine. And in the process, we all learned something invaluable." Ella smiled softly. "I suppose it's true what they say. Kindness can't be forced or faked. And love, real love, sees the truth, even in disguise." Mr. Okoro nodded. "Exactly. And now, the final lesson, for both of you. Love is not just about comfort or wealth or convenience. It's about integrity, compassion, and the courage to do what's right, even when no one is watching." Emeka stepped forward, taking Ella's hand. "Ella, I love you, not because of what you did, but because of who you are. And after everything, I know we can face anything together." Tears slid down Ella's cheeks as she smiled, squeezing his hand. "I love you too, Emeka. And now, I feel like we can truly start our life together, with honesty, courage, and kindness guiding us." Mr. Okoro, watching them, felt a swell of pride and contentment. His elaborate plan, the disguise, the street tests, it had all been worth it. And yet, the ultimate twist was still the most beautiful of all. The heart of a good person could shine even under observation. And sometimes, it could change the lives of everyone around them in ways no test could ever measure. As the sun set over Lagos, painting the sky in fiery reds and golds, the Okoro family sat together in the garden. The city hummed in the distance, chaos and life intertwined, but inside the mansion,
There was peace. A father had learned to see beyond appearances. A son had found the courage to love wholeheartedly. And a girl named Ella had proven that true kindness, when genuine, could not only pass tests, it could transform lives. And for Mr. Okoro, the greatest twist of all was this. The plan to test his son's girlfriend had ended up teaching him the most important lesson of all, that the heart's true measure is revealed in quiet, selfless acts, often unseen, but never unnoticed. The streets had tested them all, and they had all passed in ways no one could have predicted.